So it's not enough to just question your belief systems. We had mentioned last time to keep it light and flexible, but it's no point just questioning them and not doing anything about it, right? We always have some call to action to make it work for us. So you go to a good satsang, you go to a discourse, you like it very nice, you come back, and then life goes on, life happens, right? So we need to avoid that. We need to make use of that opportunity to make it work for us. Okay, so this belief system, which we mentioned last time, was that the most strongest belief systems that we are this body, mind, and intellect, right? And once that limitation is dropped, then the whole world becomes a different place for us to play around with. Okay, so that was the belief system we spoke last time. So once we are clear about this belief system that there is an opportunity, there is a possibility of us being beyond this body, mind, and intellect. And now there is a possibility because you have opened that window onto yourself. You've given that message to your mind that there is a possibility that I am beyond this. Okay, so that is a seed that has been sown now. Now that needs to sprout and grow. All right. So once we are clear about this belief system, we need to have a philosophy of life. The philosophy of life is made of the three major factors. All right. And the very first part of it is self-view. Okay. Now, self-view is a very important aspect. And just imagine ourselves standing in front of the mirror the whole day and looking at ourselves. Okay. How boring it would become after a while, right? We'll not be able to stand ourselves continuously looking at the mirror. So thinking about yourself all the time is like looking in the mirror the whole day. All right. By doing this repeatedly, our vision becomes very, very myopic and self-centered. You can't see anything beyond yourself. And as a result of this, the mind also shrinks. And your whole world starts to shrink because of that. All right. To live a productive life, you need to be inspired. And inspiration is no more a luxury. It is a necessity to live a fruitful, purposeful, productive life. If you're not inspired regularly, repeatedly, continuously, consistently, your thoughts will only revolve around your life. I, me, myself. And that's probably the biggest tragedy of our existence. So if you remember, there was a movie called Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, right? Somebody,
Yes.
yeah, you've seen that movie when the kids,
Yes.
the
Yes.
scientists, uh, children, they use a machine and they kind of shrink themselves. They become small, right?
Yes.
So when they shrink, what happens is that uh, for the kids, everything becomes a challenge. Everything is like a mountain, right? Even a small, uh, drop of grass is like a huge tree for them. The lawn mower becomes life-threatening. Correct? The drops of water is like a huge deluge of water, and they are totally scared and scampering, threatened continuously. So simple things can become life-threatening, not because of themselves, because we have shrunk ourselves. Okay, so when your mind shrinks, you cannot think, and it gets more and more difficult for us to come up. So when your body shrinks, when your mind shrinks, you think only about yourself, and everything becomes an issue, a problem, because it's you versus them now. All right, we feel threatened by the world. Then world is made by God, so then we get threatened by God. The God is not with me, so you're that person who's fighting a lone battle in the world. Everything is fearful. Everything is with skeptical, and it's a fight or flight response from then onwards. All kinds of phobias, fears, remember, you know some of them, you are aware of it. Oh, I'm very scared to do this. I'm very scared. Remember these words that you've used often in the past?
Yes. Yes.
Now you must have
Yes.
used them, but you've been using them for a while, right? So
Yes.
life is not about competition. Please understand. Life is about collaboration. The biggest challenge that we were conditioned with was that everybody has to give the exam, nobody to cheat, and that cheating uh, was given such a bad name that it spoiled the entire concept of working as a team and collaborating together. And that aspect has continued uh, even till now. All right. So in the scriptures, there are the great ones have described three kinds of people. I always talk about three kinds of people, right? So there's a different three kinds of people. So the first level is the one of laborers. Okay, vyavasai. Those who are, a typical laborer. What is his lifestyle? He'll get up in the morning. He'll go. He'll do his thing. He'll go to work the whole day, sweat it out, laborious job, only thinking about himself and his day-to-day routine. If he's a little more aware, he'll think about his family. Otherwise, that is also out. And in the evening, probably he'll go have a drink and just laze around the whole time. So it's only me myself. It's only about everyday, day-to-day living, get some profit and feed oneself. It's all about oneself. Now, this is a class of people. I'm not talking specifically about laborers. You can have a laborer mentality even as a minister or a politician or a corporate executive. All right. You would have noticed such people in your organization also, who are only about me, myself. All right. Everybody else is for to be used for their purpose. Okay, so this is the lowest form of existence, which is totally selfish way of existing. Okay, and all activities, see, action is inevitable in this world. We are in karma bhumi, so we have to act. Correct. So the action that we do can be of two types. One is desire prompted action, and one is without desires. Okay, so the desire prompted actions could be self-centered or for a higher purpose. So those who take action based on their self-centered requirement are the laborers, defined as laborers or vyavasai, work, only in doing, and for their own existence. All right. One second. There's still somebody's video is. Uh, One second. All right. So their job is only doing. All right. And the second level is the sevakari or workers. Okay, the workers are people who have some kind of an ideal, some kind of purpose, and they want to. They have their own standards of doing job. There are certain people, whether they are promoted or not, whether they are getting bonus or not, they maintain their standard of working. They won't lower that standard. Okay, there are certain people like that. उनको अपना इतना level करना है, वो करेंगे वो काम, no matter what happens. So they have a higher purpose. Their ego is slightly lower than the ones of the laborers, and they do whatever for the higher interest, and they struggle to make it happen. They have a purpose. They're inspired. Could be politicians, could be activists. Correct. A lot of activists, social activists are there, who have a purpose and they are fighting for that. And so they come under this worker category. Less ego. They still have ego because they are fighting for a cause. They believe that is right. But they are less ego than the laborers who are totally self-centered. This is more of a selflessness attitude. Okay. And that's what drives them. Again, the source of driving is coming from outside or from a purpose, which is uh, sourced from outside, but linked with the inner calling. Okay. It kind of merges with that. This is the second level of people. And so self-view, I will come to this later. The self-view part of it clearly defines that what we view as ourselves. So this is the foundation. If our view of ourselves is lopsided or distorted, it will affect our worldview. It will affect our God view. All right. So it's very important that where we are coming from. Okay. And everything else will depend on that. It will dictate how we view the world. Okay, so the worldview is how we interact with the world. C also stands for contact. The biggest thing that we do on a day-to-day basis is to contact the world on a regular, continuous, consistent basis, right? Through people, through situations, through objects, we are contacting. We are establishing a relationship with the world. So how do you see yourself? Do you see yourself as complete, confident, carefree, excited, joyful, happy? Now, if you're operating at that space, how will you see the world as? Something similar. All right. But if you are underconfident, you are scared, you are not sure of yourself, you have challenges within your own understanding, how will you see the world? Also as challenging, threatening, okay? That it's a jungle outside and we need to fight our way through. This is how we will brought up, right? अरे पढ़ना पड़ेगा, इतना पढ़ाई करो, अच्छा तभी तुमको फर्स्ट आना है, तभी तुमको अच्छे कॉलेज में एडमिशन मिलेगा, और अच्छे कॉलेज में एडमिशन तभी तुम्हारा प्लेसमेंट होगा. So you realize how the whole journey has been progressing. We are constantly being pushed to a place where we are constantly told that you have to really work hard to be good enough to hold yourself in this world. What is the kind of attitude or the viewpoint that we are developing? That we are not good enough. We have to constantly work to be at the top or be better than the others. Okay. So that is happening. Why? Because then we are comparing ourselves with everybody around us. That means we are establishing a fact that we are not different. We have no uniqueness within us. And that's what the society also would want from society's point of view. Society doesn't want everybody to be different, right? Society wants everybody to follow a certain rule book, certain way of being, so that their life of everybody is more settled. If everybody starts doing their thing, then a society cannot run. So from society point of view, they are very right. But what about us? We are on this path. Can we make use of this time to make it work for us?